long ball. Stretch, stretch, stretch. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, here at Long Beach Sunday. Today's show is brought to you by InvestTrustDeeds.com. InvestTrustDeeds.com. Give them a call for all your real estate and financial needs. In fact, ask them about high rates of return on investment. Folks, I hear they're in the double digits. Give them a call at 702-214-4700. That's InvestTrustDeeds.com. 702-214-4700. Again, 702-214-4700. Make sure you tell them the circus sent you. All right, also a big welcome to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio and our NBC Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Lenny, we have a consensus on the championship at the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest.
One of those things, Sal, where you look at and you say, were we really shocked by this? Were we surprised at the outcome? Well, one thing that we've got to do, how about an enormous Sports Circus round of applause for the in-house champion who did an interview with us. That would be the female champ, Miki Sudo. Downing the 37 dogs and buns in 10 minutes. Sal, it was such a great victory. And what was nice about it is that when I looked at it, the whole thing, and I saw that she was in the lead, and she took our advice, Sal. She looked over her shoulder to her left and to her right, and she saw that she had a lead, and she just kind of coasted towards the end. And when she was interviewed at the end of it, she says, yeah, I could have eaten more, but I just looked at my competitors and saw that I had a big lead, so I just kind of coasted it in. Nice.
That would have been great if she threw her feet up on the table, sat down, put her feet up on the table, put a little mustard and a pickle relish, whatever she puts on it, and just sat there and enjoy for maybe the last 1 minute while everybody else was trying to choke them down to catch her. That would have been great.
That would have been. Put your feet up, have like a little, margarita there or something. Just eat the last one slowly, intentionally.
Right, like you're watching
up the
a ball
crowd
game.
a bit. Yeah, exactly. And believe me, that would get 40,000 people, Sal. 40,000 people at Coney Island watching this. Can you imagine the roar that she would get and the YouTube hype on that if she would have just kicked up her feet and just had one of these big muscle guys fanning her as she's sitting there just eating a hot dog? That would have been nice.
I don't mind a little hot dog eating showboating. I'm good with that.
Oh, for sure. But what we're not cool with, we are not cool at all when you have the effort, the grit and the grind and the determination of the now 11-time champion. Let's put this in perspective, Sal. Perspective is this. Do you know Joey Chestnut now has, as an athlete, tied Bill Russell for the single most titles by an athlete with 11. Okay? He has tied him. Okay, look at more perspective. He has more championships now than Michael Jordan. He has just as many championships as Jordan and Pippen combined. Okay? Let's look at this.
No. They have 12.
Sal, come on.
They have 12 between them.
So he'll pass that up next year. Okay, so
why
let's say
why don't
Magic,
we put that in
Magic
perspective to Magic Johnson? How many does Magic have?
5. So if you add Jordan and Magic together, they equal the greatness, barely, of Joey Chestnut.
That's ridiculous.
And look, no, Sal, this guy, he's definitely an athlete. We talked about it with Miki Sudo, but he takes it to the extreme, Sal. He comes in there as a local boy from California, taking down Kobayashi, the Godzilla, the tsunami of eating. Not only did he take him down, but he rang off 8 in a row until getting beat by Matt Stoney as a fluke. And then he went and regained that title, and he kept the coveted mustard belt on American soil where it belongs, Sal. It is in the human interest of us.
I saw Miki Sudo's name on the bottom line on ESPN. That was very exciting. Very happy for her. But, all of these contests, they never go by without a little bit of controversy. And the dog eating contest, this hot dog eating contest through Major League Eating has had its woes after counting errors. Yes, yet another counting error. This is not the first time, Lenny, it's happened. And here's a quote. "We are embarrassed," said George Shea, president of Major League Eating, who was the color commentator of ESPN's broadcast on Wednesday. And while even NFL referees make mistakes at the highest level, we have to show an effort to change the old way. This isn't your father's hot dog eating contest. There's a lot on the line. That comes from the president of Major League Eating.
And he's right. He's absolutely right. And now when you look at it, ladies and gentlemen, when you're watching this, Sal, there's behind the competitors, there's these girls that have the large poles, sticks with the count. They flip the numbers as they gain 2, 4, 8, 20. They're flipping the numbers so that the crowd sees it. But what they don't know is that they actually have referee spotters that are down below, right in front of the competitors, like Joey Chestnut, like Mickey Sudo, and they're watching them complete the dog and the bun, and then they're going ahead and they're signaling to the girl up above, the competitor, and they're letting them know, flip it with another one or another two. So there has to be some other system now. Do we have to go to the food replay, Sal, to see how many they've eaten?
Well, look, let's put a little bit of dose of reality on this. So now, this George Shea, president of Major League Eating, he had said an analogy. He made an analogy with NFL referees, and here's the real dose of reality, folks. The fact is, 40,000 people went to go watch this. And if you look at, for example, our beloved L.A. Chargers, they're drawing 20,000, 12,000, 15,000. You look at your Angels, for example, in baseball, they're averaging about 40,000, right? So imagine a crowd like that surrounded by this. And now when you look at the NFL's paid audience, the gate admission, typically through the season last year, it was hovering right around the same number. So maybe I think that his analogy of the NFL referees may have been apropos only to the fact that there was the same amount of people, Lenny, on both sides. Maybe at the football games and maybe at this particular event as well. So what do you think? Is that real or is that BS?
Now, I just feel, Sal, that isn't it obvious that there is a hunger for this type of sports of competitive eating? There's definitely a ravenous hunger for this. We need more of it. We need the pie eating contest. We need the shish kebab contest. We need ribs. We need oysters. We need it all, Sal.
We need everything.
We need more.
And Lenny, I got to break this up right now because we do have an audio clip of something going down in the television booth right now. That's ridiculous. Look at him go. Lenny, what the heck's going on, man?
Oh, boy. Now, that would be something that's happening right now. 2 grown adults, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it was supposed to be. How about the Detroit Anchors of baseball get involved in a physical altercation? Will not be returning, Sal, in 2019 because Mario Impemba and Rod Allen, the dynamic duo, or as we should say, dummies, that cover the Detroit Tigers for Fox Sports Detroit, will not return for the following year's season, weeks after the two were involved in a physical altercation with each other.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
And that's even reminiscent of it. People often say, so Lenny, why in the world is Sal over there in Vegas and you're broadcasting from SoCal? Because that would happen.
Exactly.
Like
we were
that.
in the same building. You know damn well every day. It's the same thing over and over.
I'll tell you what, though, the the biggest loss of all of this is actually Mario Impemba. He was in his final year of $500,000 a year, Sal. And then next year, he was up to be getting a raise, a 4-year contract raise of over $600,000 a year. Look at that.
That's ridiculous.
That's a lot of money to throw away.
Oh, man, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, man. I'm having too much fun with this.
Yes.
I mean, look at all that money they're losing, but more importantly, all they did was they put Detroit. I mean, look, Detroit is already kind of in the toilet as far as people's desire to go for vacation. I mean, who goes to Detroit for vacation? I don't know anybody that does. But, I mean, it's not really a destination that people go out of their way to go to. They kind of get stuck there. And so maybe it was that Mario Impemba and Rod Allen felt stuck there and they just had enough. You know, it's just what happens when you're in the same booth in a crappy city. It is what it is. And, you know, hey, if we have listeners in Detroit, folks, you know that city's crappy too. It's nothing personal. It is what it is. But honestly, Lenny, I believe that these two guys probably should get their own skit on like Saturday Night Live or something, where they could really make some money and make up for the losses from their income. What do you think?
No, I think that would be a good Saturday Night Live skit altogether. Just having two guys that are in the booth for a while and maybe they're like arguing behind the scenes, like, I can't wait till this sack of bleep gets out of here. And then all of a sudden, you know, they start throwing down on each other. That would be good. That'd be a great skit. And then have them both fall over into the stands, like out of the booth and into the stands and go wailing at each other then too. That would be funny.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
A two-out rally is predicated on what those hitters are doing at the plate. When you look at what the hitters were doing, they were shortening up the stroke, they were getting up on the bat, they were rotating the knuckles, they were doing all the right things to get around on everything and protect the plate.
How far could you throw a flag? What's your record for throwing a flag? I know there's beanbags or something.
There's beanbags, marks the spots. Flag, you've got a little sand in it, and you roll it up to a little ball to try to get to the spot. People think that you're throwing it a huge distance. You don't have to throw it a huge distance. You just got to get it on the right line.
But do they have like a punt, pass, and kick for flags?
No, you can throw it 50. So I had this weight in my flag, and it was in the back, and I was on the wing, and I went to throw it, and it got caught in the back of my pants, and I swung it like this, and it went across, it hit the kid in the helmet. The kid looked at me and said, "Now don't go offsides again."
Goofiest thing that we ever did was they filled a swimming pool full of Jell-O, and people could pay to watch Gary and I dive into this pool of Jell-O, and he and I raised $100,000 doing that.
Okay. That's hilarious. And, you know, at least when you go underwater, you can actually eat Jell-O.
That's right.
He's not a dumb guy, but he doesn't follow instructions.
He made a terrible play. Even if he got tackled and didn't fumble, it's a bad play.
The fact is he didn't follow instructions. And you say he's not a dumb guy. Therefore, his own agenda he put ahead of his team.
I agree.
Thus, he is a dumb guy.
What,
Yeah, and Ohio State has a $100 million recruiting budget that I'd love to see where they're spending their $100 million. Central Florida's earned their way. Give them a shot. In fact, if they extend the playoffs to 8 teams, so you get the Power 5, they all get their automatic bid, and then you get 3 at large. That would solve all the unbeaten teams and maybe an extra team from pick your favorite Power 5 team. There's no primetime show like it on air that'll punch you in the mouth, and you'll beg for more. It's a circus, and we prove it every day.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Remaster Sal here at Long Beach Lenny. This segment is brought to you by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind for less than $1 a day. Whether you got a ticket for speeding, texting and driving, a DUI, maybe you have to go to court and you're too scared to go. Maybe someone socked you in the mouth, you lost some teeth, and you need a lawyer. For less than $1 a day, give the folks at Legal Shield a call, 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. 213-245-1305. Give Legal Shield a call right now or visit them at nocourt.us. All right, also a big welcome to everybody listening in on NBC Sports and our iHeartRadio channel. All those people listening over in Honolulu, welcome on NBC Sports 1500 KHKA in sunny Southern California, NBC News and Sports, KCAA 106.5 FM, 102.3 FM, and 1050 AM, covering the greater Los Angeles market. Right here in Las Vegas, KSHB 1400, home of your first-place Arizona Diamondbacks. In Chicago, 1590 WCGO, our Westwood One News affiliate. Of course, and our friends over in Buffalo and the greater Toronto markets on WLVL 1340 and 105.3 FM. And Lenny, who'd we forget?
And that would be in the Outer Limits, the Mars Rover.
All right. All right, good stuff. Hey, folks, we got a special guest with us today. And this is actually very good for our friends listening on WLVL as well as KCAA in Southern California, because we have 5-time Stanley Cup champion, 6-time All-Star, and Hockey Hall of Fame inductee. You may remember him between the pipes, making ridiculous saves just like this. Let's see if we can pull this up real quick.
Trying to break, and he's in. Stopped. Brought in and was saved by Fuhr. What a play by LeMay.
All right, that's Grant Fuhr, folks. A huge round of applause for Grant Fuhr joining the Sports Circus today. Welcome, Grant. Glad to have you on the show, Grant.
Hey, glad to be here.
All right. So obviously you're not really playing, at least in the NHL these days. Well, of course you could, because there certainly is a shortage of goalies out there. There's a definite shortage of goalies.
Unfortunately, I'm old now, so no.
Well, I don't know. You're not really that old. Hey, let me ask you real quick. Obviously, you've won a bunch of cups. You've got rings, one for the thumb. You've got the whole thing. You've basically done it all. Hockey Hall of Fame. I mean, what is there left on the hockey agenda? Maybe ownership, general manager? What could be next, if any?
I think I'd like to get back into coaching again. I mean, I had a lot of fun when I was coaching in Phoenix and did a little bit in Calgary, and now I've had a few years away from the game again. I think it'd be fun to get back into it.
Mm-hmm. Give you a chance to sit back and reflect a little bit and say, all right, let's build that fire and let's get them back in there. So let me ask you.
Give you a chance to step back, and I've watched the game a little bit, which now you can see how the game's developed and evolved over the last couple of years, and you can adjust to that.
Well, now, from when you played to today, for example, you don't have the two-line pass issue anymore. How do you feel about that?
I like the fact that they're trying to open the game up and make it offensive. I mean, if everybody remembers the way we played Edmonton, we played offensive, so I like to see the game trying to go back to that. But at the same time, forwards have to keep their heads up a little bit more. I mean, defensemen get a little bigger run at them, and they're coming at full speed, so the collisions are a little more violent.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the trapezoid?
I'm still not a fan of it. I mean, I think
I don't
half the fun of watching goalies. Yeah, half the fun of watching goalies play the puck is when they get out there where they shouldn't be and handle the puck. That's where 90% of their mistakes are made.
Right. And the one that comes to mind for me is Ed Belfour roaming around in the corner. It's like, Eddie, what are you doing? Get back between the pipes. I watched many a Hawks games growing up in Chicago and watching Eddie just roam in the corners. But a lot of those guys, right. The trapezoid kind of keeps them. It sort of keeps them back where they're supposed to be, I suppose. But it takes the fun out, kind of like in baseball. Now they have a automatic intentional pass instead of throwing the 4 pitches and going through the motion. I want to see mistakes out there.
Oh yeah, well they've eliminated some of the mistakes, so we can't go out there anymore. So it's that. If you're coaching goalies, it's a great thing because you don't have to teach them to handle the puck as much.
Sure. Well, now that's going to make a difference, of course, in your overall, at some point, in your goals against. And think about the Vezina Trophy versus the Jennings Trophy, right? You have the best goalie versus the best goals against average. What is more important to you?
I think from a team aspect, you'd want the Jennings. From a personal aspect, you'd want the Vezina. I think the Jennings is basically an award for your whole team because your whole team has to play good defense for you to have the best average.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Whereas the Vezina, you're going to be the most valuable to your team.
That's correct. Go ahead, Lenny.
All right, so here we go. Grant, we have a thing real quick that we call Take 10. 10 random questions really quick, and you're quick with the stick, and you're legendary. So this is for the fans to get to know you. Are you ready?
Okay.
Question number 1. You have to sign into a motel with a fake movie star name. Who you signing it with?
Who am I signing in as?
Yes.
Oh, how about Denzel Washington?
Your best go-to restaurant for dinner?
Mastro's.
Your favorite TV show to watch reruns off of?
Watch reruns. How about NCIS?
Best holiday of the year?
Christmas.
Favorite sports movie of all time?
I'd have to say Slapshot.
If you could go back in history and have dinner with one person, who would you want that to be?
Martin Luther King.
You're stranded on a deserted island for 10 days. You could bring only one snack food and one soda type. What are you going to bring?
Oh, I'd probably have Coke and potato chips.
What superhero would you want to play in a movie?
I've always been a big fan of Spider-Man.
What animal do you most represent?
It's a good question. Kind of like lions.
And the last question that we are all judged by. What is the greatest decade of music of all time?
Oh, I'm still a big fan of the 80s.
Yes!
I think we all are. Excellent.
There you go. That was that is the best. Absolutely. We're all in the same ballpark here as far as age. What I wanted to know is this. Now look, hockey goalies nowadays, I mean, they get the hook so often. They get days off. They get experimented on. But let's look back at the year where you had the consecutive appearances of 76 in 1996. I mean, that's like the sort of the Iron Man version between the pipes there. Go ahead and explain to everybody. I mean, what that meant to you to play 76? How difficult was it? And do you think anybody, the way that the game is organized and coached today, will that ever happen again?
Well, that's the last question first. I think it'll happen again. I mean, it's very doable. It's a mindset more than anything. I mean, you have to be able, one, to have a lot of focus when you're on the ice, but be able to let it go when you're away from the rink. 2, you're going to have to play with some aches and pains. That's just part of it. And you're going to have a coach willing to play you that much. So, I mean, I fortunately got that chance. I apparently was old at that time, or so I was told before that season started. So it was a good way for me to prove that I could still play and have a little bit of durability, and I had fun playing every day. I mean, players prepare to play every day, so why not a goalie?
But is there a point in time there, Grant, that you, like, during the season that you look at it and say, man, this is a long haul for me. I really wish that I had another day, a day off, or are you just looking at it like, hey, this is my responsibility. I'm going to do what it takes, and I'm not pulling myself out?
No. I mean, one, I wanted to prove a point that I could play. So if they wanted me to play every day, I was going to play every day. You can play with bumps and bruises. I've got no issues with that. I've played with lots of those, so that didn't bother me one bit, and I like playing. I mean, I think that's the other thing, is you have to enjoy it, and I like being out there every day.
So you like being out there, as I would imagine most would. But what I'm after here is, look, I look at it as, look, not only do you dig playing, you dig what you do and you love the challenges, but more importantly, Grant, here in the last minute, I like the idea of the guys that are willing to play injured to the point where, A, they're not going to jeopardize their career, but yeah, they can handle a little bit of aches and pains, or they're being paid a little bit of money. Get out there and do your job, but have fun doing it. And I think the team would tip their hats to you and tap their sticks against the dasher boards because you got out there and you did the team thing. What do you think?
I have to agree with that. I mean, you also have to look at the point, you can play with aches and pains, but you don't want to play where you're going to be a detriment to the team either. So
correct.
You have to know that you're able to play.
Yeah, and
I
would
agree. Mindset.
Right. I mean, whether you're a rookie or whether you're a veteran, I think the same thing applies. As a rookie, you have to gain the trust of the veterans out there, or the guys that have been there for a while. But as a veteran, also, that leadership is really important, isn't it?
It makes a difference. I mean, when I started, if you didn't play when you were hurt, you didn't get to play. They bring somebody else in to take your job. So I learned when I was young that the little minor dings and stuff, you just play through those. That's how you got to play. That was part of the mindset I learned when I was young.
Those are great habits. And, folks, we're going to be back here in just a few minutes with Grant Fuhr, 5-time Stanley Cup champion, 6-time All-Star, Hockey Hall of Fame. Back here in just a few minutes on the Sports Circus. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere. Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UppercutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UppercutChops.com.
Greetings, everyone. This is John Detty, drummer from Slayer, Anthrax, Testament, and Volbeat. You're listening to the Sports Circus.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Long Beach Lenny here with the ringmaster Sal, and this segment is brought to you by the American Business Trust Company, specializing in startup consulting, sales and marketing, corporate strategy, and investment capital. Visit them at abtrustco.com, that is abtrustco.com, or give them a call at 657-600, 1-876, that number again, 657-600, 1-876 for all your business needs, and tell them the circus sent you. All right, and a big welcome to all of our iHeartRadio and NBC sports affiliates from coast to coast. And right now, folks, we have a treat in the circus. We have lifted up the tent, and we are gathered here with the 5-time Stanley Cup champion, Hall of Fame goalie. It rolls off your tongue so easily, Grant Fuhr. Grant, I have a question real quick. Okay, so
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
Sure. Look, a lot of people. I'm not the big hockey buff. Okay, there it is. I'm a hockey fan. I'm not the big hockey buff, and I'm a Kings fan. Okay, since 1975, the whole, the whole Triple Crown line, all of that. But there's been modifications to the game. Do you see a way that can tweak the game that would make it more fan-friendly and, I guess, entertaining and enticing on the television? Being live is different, Grant. Everybody would love it there. But on the TV, how can you make it a little bit more fan interesting? How can you translate that?
On TV is a little tougher. I mean, you don't get the atmosphere of the building and such. I think the 4K TVs and that sort of things help the game a little bit. But a lot of it's got to be your announcers have to be better. I think the biggest complaint I hear is people have a hard time following the puck when they're new to watching the game on TV. So if somebody's new to the game, I try and make sure they see a game live first, or they see a couple of games live so that they get a feel for what the game's actually trying to be. I think that's the biggest thing.
That's a great suggestion. It really is. And, they've flirted around with puck tracking. You may remember some years ago, and I think it was towards the end of your career, they started fooling around with that puck tracking that is almost like a laser light or something. When someone shoots, they put it in video games, and it didn't really go so well. But I think now there's been some dialogue about putting a chip in the middle of the puck so they could get all the statistics. People are flocking to the sabermetrics for baseball. But I think trying to engage another crowd that maybe isn't an athletic crowd, but that can understand the math and science behind it. I think that's how they're trying to draw some people in. But I believe also that puck tracking laser light thing is going to make another appearance again. What do you think?
I have a strange feeling they may try it again. I mean, the thing they have to be careful with there is that they don't turn off the purists of it. Yes. I think that's what happened with the first one. The laser got a little too big on TV, and it turned off people that were real fans of the game. So you got to find a mix of the two.
Right. I was one of those people.
I mean, I remember seeing it. As a fan, I didn't like it either. As a player, you didn't know what was happening, so it was perfect.
Right. Because I think your suggestion...
They have to find a happy medium.
Right, your suggestion of going to a game first before spending some time watching it on television, Lenny, I think that really solves a lot of issues. It's just a matter now of getting them to the stadium.
Yeah, that line did not do well for me at all. Not at all. That didn't do well for me. Hey, Grant, Sal is always talking about injuries in sports. Oh, if a baseball player gets a hangnail, man, they're crying a river and they got to get taken out of the game. But Sal's like, hockey players, they get busted up, they get sewn up in the locker room, they come out with stitches and teeth and missing. And do you now? Do you find that it's different now with the equipment? Have they penalized it and toned down the fighting, or do you think that it's translated the same from the 80s all the way until now?
I think hockey players are still a little bit of a different breed. I mean, a lot of guys will play through a lot of injuries. I think you've seen the last few years, as the money goes up, guys are playing through less injuries, though. because they're protecting the income they're going to make over the course of their career. I think when we played, we didn't worry about the money. You just wanted to have a long career, so some of the older guys played through a lot worse injuries than guys would play through now. I think that's probably the biggest difference, but medical technology's come a long way where the trainers can help you through a lot of aches and pains and injuries. I think that's the biggest thing is you have to have a good training staff.
Well, Grant, also think about this. Nowadays, you hear, well, Corey Crawford has an upper body injury. They won't tell anybody what the real injury is, right? That was an ongoing saga last year in Chicago.
I get a kick out of that at playoff time. Playoff time, that's always fun.
What should they be disclosing?
If you've played the game, you could see during a hit what's probably hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if a guys bang knees together, pretty good chance it's a knee. It's not a lower body. So the fun that they don't want to actually disclose it, in football they have to. So sooner or later, hockey's going to turn to that.
I don't understand that. I mean, folks, we're here with 5-time Stanley Cup champion, 6-time All-Star Hockey Hall of Famer, Grant Fuhr. So, Grant, when they're not disclosing an injury, I mean, look, it's pretty obvious, like you said, they could watch the replay over and over. Now, today, you could just watch it on the internet 100 times if you want to, and you could figure it out with your advanced scouting if you really want to. So what is the big mystery? Why don't they just say, hey, the guy's got a bruised sternum or something like that?
It's probably an old tradition. I mean, it used to be, hey, guy's hurt, don't say anything. Okay. Well, now they say, well, okay, he's hurt. Everybody gets that point. They just, it's either upper or lower. They leave it at that. So what it does, I think it takes the trainers off the hook.
Oh, all right. So there's the angle. That's what I'm missing here. I'm trying to find what is missing in this equation because we know the guy's hurt. He's on the shelf. Crawford was on the shelf for half the year last year. All right. And so he had an upper body injury. Okay, I get it. The guy's hurt. But what is the big deal about disclosing what happened to him? I don't get that. So if the trainer is essentially on the hook, and let's say the trainer misdiagnoses something, is that where the media, in your opinion, is going to chastise the trainer, or are they going to go after the senior management?
It's going to be senior management that's going to get the heat at the end of the day. So it's a way of protecting themselves. It's a way of not leaving the player strung out there because some people are going to think he should be able to play through the injury and that sort of thing. So it's kind of a way of covering everybody.
Mm-hmm. So, Grant, if you had a chance to coach next year, let's just say, where do you think you'd like to be?
Where would I like to be?
Yeah.
I'm good I'd be happy anywhere. I like being a part of the game. I like the game, the atmosphere around the game. Everything that goes on with the game. I'm still a diehard fan of it. So I would look at anywhere.
Okay. Go ahead, Lenny.
I want to know, Sal, the burning question that I always say, unsolicited, Grant, no hints from Sal, who is the greatest hockey player that you have seen or played with?
That was kind of easy. Guy that wears 99. I think Gretz is probably the best I've had a chance to play with, play against, get to see, all the above.
Can you please no, Sal, back off. I could already hear him, Grant, right now trying to manipulate an angle on this. I want to hear further. Why is Gretzky the greatest? Sal will say a lot of things why he doesn't feel, but I feel the same way. Please elaborate his skill level, his size, why. Give me some definitive, concrete answers on that.
One, I think he saw the game better than anybody else. I mean, he was always one or two steps ahead of everybody. Two, phenomenal passer. His skills were phenomenal. Maybe not the greatest shooter of the puck, but he could hit the small spots. A very accurate shooter. But I think just the way, and he made everybody around him better. And I think that's the sign of a true superstar is you make the players around you better.
So look at it this way. I want to have this discussion with you, but I'll only have the discussion because we're running a little bit low on time here, and I want to see if you want to stick around with us for the final segment of the show, because then we can have a more, we'll have a little bit better. But I'll give you a little teaser. Okay, so I think if I stay within, let's just say, the last 30 years, of course I'm going to gravitate to a guy that we don't really know what he would have done. And I know you know who I'm referring to. You have to.
Where's a couple of upside down nines?
That's the guy, number 66. I want to know, and I want you to think about this a little bit. I mean, look, we know that Gretzky was Gretzky. I mean, it's awfully hard to argue with his accomplishments. But, Grant Fuhr, think about this. If Mario Lemieux had the same duration for his career, he was also on a loaded team as well, right? He had great wing. I mean, the guy had it. So what I'm thinking about, I want you to think about this before we get into a dialogue on it. Think about all of the time that he had, the little bit of time that he had, and what he accomplished in that time. And, man, this guy had incredible skills, and he had size, and he could hit the small spots. I want you to come back at the next segment and tell me a comparison between the two, and who do you think, if they both had side-by-side careers, who would be, never mind a scoring champion, but who would be the best player that the National Hockey League has seen in the history of the National Hockey League? Folks, we're going to be back here with Grant Fuhr, 5-time Stanley Cup champion, 6-time All-Star, Hockey Hall of Famer, in just a few minutes, and we're going to get an answer to the question I just posed. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average and best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now. Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Hey there, it's Nick Mackay. You may know me as the voice of Salem Saberhagen, the talking cat from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You're listening to the Sports Circus. I'm on a calliope. Get me out of here. I'm scared.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Sports Circus. I am Long Beach Lenny here with the Ringmaster Sal. This segment is brought to you by Cali Vegas, helping people just like you create and host your very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk show. Cali Vegas can help you with everything you need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic every day and hosting your very own talk show in your very own studio. How do you do this? You call Cali Vegas at 949-445-1119. That number again, 949-445-1119, or visit them at CaliVegas.com. Cali Vegas, have them make you a star.
Excellent.
And also a big welcome to all of our iHeartRadio and NBC Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Sal, we are coming back with the honor of our 5-time Stanley Cup Championship goalie, Hall of Famer. That would be Grant Fuhr. And Sal, we had a nice question before the last break as far as with Gretzky and your proposed better player. Continue, Sal.
My proposed better player is the duration of the career. If Mario Lemieux had the opportunity to play the same duration on his team that he had, because both Lemieux and Gretzky had really good teams, I believe, in my opinion, that Mario Lemieux could have surpassed what Wayne Gretzky accomplished. Now, I don't know. We're asking a guy that has played with Wayne Gretzky for a number of years, hoisted the cup many a time with him, and at the same time, played against him. What do you think, Grant Fuhr? What are your thoughts?
I think Mario would have come close. Whether he would have surpassed him or not, no, I don't know if he would have surpassed him. I mean, it takes a long career with a lot of duration and such. And two, you have to have teammates all the way through the whole thing. And I think that what Gretz accomplished may never be accomplished again. I mean, Mario will be the closest person to it. I think that's kind of a foregone conclusion in my mind anyway, is that's as close as you'll see to what Wayne accomplished, if that makes sense.
Now, Grant, do you believe that Alex Ovechkin can score 50 in the next 5 and surpass Wayne Gretzky?
50 a year for the next 5 years?
Uh-huh.
He's
a sniper.
I would bet against it. How's that?
Yeah, I would bet against it too, but I think it's possible. Maybe it might take 6 years, and I think he's so damn stubborn. I think he might play until he wins or gets that record.
The biggest thing is, will he stay in the NHL for another 5 or 6 years?
Sure he will.
He's got to be, 32, 33 years old now?
He's 33 right
Maybe
now.
34?
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden you're trying to score 50 goals at 38. It gets harder every year.
Yeah, it does. But then again, the goaltending product.
What he's going to find out, he's going to find out this year is coming back as a defending champion, everything's going to be a little bit harder. After you've won your first cup, that next year is a lot harder because there's no easy games. Everybody wants to upset the defending champion. So even the teams that aren't very good are going to play well against Washington this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Grant, I wanted to know as far as with the fans, the heckling. Have you ever been? Everybody has their particular away stadium that, man, those fans just rode me to no end year after year. Can you give me your top two? Give me your top 2 away games that those stadiums that, man, they were nonstop.
Well, let's see. Philly was always fun.
Philly, of course. I thought I was laughing because of Philly.
Philly's a tough place to play for a visitor. For us in Edmonton, Calgary was always a tough place to play. I mean, that was always our big rival. So that was a tough building. But it's also a fun building. I mean, the buildings where they're on you all the time are the most fun because then you just get people more upset by the better you play.
I think of Philly, and I think of Philly, the fans booing Santa Claus. If you boo Santa Claus, come on, that's your favorite holiday. It's my favorite holiday too, and Lenny, it's probably yours, I'm guessing. But how do you boo Santa Claus? But that's Philadelphia. That's what they do.
And you know it going in. So to see it live, I actually enjoyed it the first time I got to see it live. I didn't think it actually happened. But it was like, okay. But their fans will also boo their own team. I mean, they are hard on their own team.
Yes, they are.
But when they're winning and things are going well, they're phenomenal fans. But they can be hard on their own team too when things aren't going well. They have big expectations.
I would agree. There's a lot of clubs out there that have fans that are just that way. I mean, in Chicago, we have the same thing. And part of our listening audience is in, of course, covering Buffalo and Toronto. And Buffalo and Toronto are polar opposites right now. They're absolute opposites. And Toronto is going to keep progressing. Buffalo, unfortunately, they go out and pick up 3 centers at the free agency from a deal, right? And unfortunately, they go and take Carter Hutton from St. Louis. But look at it this way. Carter Hutton had pretty good numbers in St. Louis. He had pretty good numbers in Chicago and Detroit. The bigger problem lies that who's going to play in front of Carter Hutton? So that may have been their guy, but what are they doing defensively in front of him? They just got 3 centers. They're going to have to deal off either Sobotka or Berglund or somebody. They need defense in the worst possible way. They really hung Leonard out to dry last year.
Yeah, and I think it got to him a little bit. I think he was a high-strung kid that let it get to him. I don't think Carter's that way. I think he's a little more laid back. So I think he's going to have some success in Buffalo. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like it was in St. Louis, but I think he's a good fit for that organization.
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, they're in our listening audience, and I sort of root for the underdog because they're the underdog every game. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They could be playing a junior team. They'll be the underdog. So I'm always rooting for this. This goes all the way back to a guy that you used to play with, Dominic Hasek.
Yeah, and Dom, if you look what Dom did with Buffalo, they weren't the greatest teams, but Dom made them good teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and Carter's going to have one of those years where he's going to have to do the same thing. He's going to have to steal some games for him.
Well, I sure hope that the defense shows up. I really hope they make a couple of moves because they're just not going to keep the puck out of the back of the net. I just can't see it.
No, they're going to have some struggles keeping the puck out of the net, but at the same time, if they learn to play a decent defensive system, they can offset some of that. I mean, they're going to have to win some games 2-1, 3-2, that sort of thing, which isn't always the easiest way, but at the same time, they'll be competitive that way.
Right. Go ahead, Lenny.
I just wanted to find out real quick, did you have a sense of responsibility being a black athlete in a predominantly white sport at the time that you played?
I think at the time when I was playing, it was more I had responsibility to be a good athlete. I mean, you're worried about your team first and foremost and the guys you play with without worrying about what's going on in society and that sort of thing. I think as I've gotten older and more away from the game and more where I can see the outside of the game, that yes, there was more of a responsibility there.
So, Grant, can you go ahead and give us your social media outlets and any thing that people can contact you on?
You can find me at, what am I on Instagram? GrantFuhr31. I think Twitter's at Grant Fuhr. I think Facebook's GrantFuhr31. So I'm fairly easy to find.
Well, Grant,
during hockey season,
I was just going to say, when you decide to find,
right,
when you decide to find yourself back in the NHL or back in the coaching ranks, we'd love to have you back in. See, give us a little progress report. Tell us a little bit more, and maybe the Sports Circus will do something special for the team that you're coaching for. What do you think?
I would love to do it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Grant Fuhr, 5-time Stanley Cup champion, 6-time All-Star Hockey Hall of Fame. Grant, a pleasure having you on the show, and certainly you're back. You're welcome to come back anytime.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
I don't know what the big deal about Cracker Jack is. Did you ever go and buy a pack of Cracker Jack thinking you're going to get a prize and find no prize in the box? Here's the pitch. That might not sound important to some people, but when you're a little kid, especially from humble origin, and they cheat you out of a prize. There's a bouncing ball. Second baseman has the Barbary over the first. It's hard to think in laudatory terms of the product.
I think if there was an occasional box of Cracker Jacks that found no prizes for the little Harry Carey many years ago.
You got that right. And boy, when a box of Cracker Jack to me meant a lot of money. Here's a pitch, bounce, foul. That's the most asinine marketing I've ever heard of. One ball, one strike. These guys say, well, you sing about Cracker Jack. I said that I only sing it because it's in the song. Here's a pitch, foul back. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised, even to this day, some youngsters who buy a box of Cracker Jack don't find a prize in the box. One ball, two strikes, 2 out. Well, if you're going to talk about our congressman being crooked, here's a pitch, foul out of play. Why not talk about commercial products that don't do what they represent to do?
All right, folks, we're going to wrap up today's show here on the Sports Circus. Boy, we sure covered a lot. And Lenny, you know what we forgot to cover was the large fireworks shows. And, there were some really big fireworks shows. And I don't care where you're at, whether you're from coast to coast or New York, Chicago, L.A., bunch of points in between. In my opinion, the best one is still in Louisville, and that is the Thunder over Louisville. And you'll see Thunder over Louisville. Very exciting stuff. So, folks, for Grant Fuhr, for Long Beach Lenny, I'm your ringmaster, Sal. We'll be back here tomorrow right on your favorite radio station. We'll see you then. So long, everyone.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. That's 800-741-9557.